All right. Hello again. This is Chad Everett Broshears. I am the host of Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia and also the author of the Human Manual, Introduction to the Human Manual, and a series of developmental programs. All can be found on thehumanmanual.net. So that's the website. All right, boys and girls, let's get on to this conversation that I've been hearing my whole life, these cliche statements. So the one that I wanted to go after today is ignorance is bliss. Well, ignorance is only bliss to the person that knows to manipulate the ignorant. Just because you don't know someone's manipulating you or taking advantage of you, which is based off of your lack of knowledge, then it doesn't mean that there's not consequences that are considered and could be considered to fall into the category of suffering. So suffering is not bliss. I guarantee you. And this is actually very readily available and obvious in our standard society positions, like people that are in the lower impoverished positions and things like that, that are obvious to be ignorant in the way of actually generating money or being able to make a, fortune for themselves. You can agree that that would be ignorance in the ability to do so. This isn't getting into all the discussion about, or the defenses, because people will argue with you about being poor. They'll make up excuses to why they're poor and why they should remain poor. That's what their defensive argument is usually about. If they argue with you about it or give you excuses like, well, you don't know what's going on and I'm oppressed and, these people do this to me and blah, blah, blah. So let me do a little bit of quick housekeeping here. All right, looks good. All right, before I go any further, just know that there is, and there will almost certainly, hopefully by the end of the day today, I will have it up, but I'm on a very short time budget, and you should see something directly up here. Oh, wait, there we go, right up there. That's going to be on the screen, not my microphone or the microphone windshield spit guard. But it will be the disclaimer for all of my videos moving forward. You'll be able to access the video on the introduction to the the introduction to Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia, and also my disclaimer about me not being a doctor, holding the position of a doctor or anything of that sort. This is all from my philosophy and education called the Human Manual. And that's where this information can be found and referenced and all this other wonderful stuff, unless, of course, I cite references inside of individual videos. So now that I have that out of the way, ignorance is completely not bliss at all. That's one of the most ignorant statements that I actually have heard. No one's out to hold you down or oppress you. And if they are, so what? What are you going to do about it to actually get out of the concept of suffering? What are you going to do to get out of what you're dealing with? I teach all of my students and clients, first and foremost, personal responsibility. And then secondly, that all suffering is related to lacking knowledge. So if you believe you should be endangered or that you should be a particular class of people, then that in itself is your belief. Therefore, that's your knowledge on your position. And that's up to you to do something about it. Once you actually have that awareness, then it's actually the next question is, where do I go from there, would be the logical question. Moving through your logical questioning, you start, for me, I assign all of my students and clients to mentors, whether that's myself or some of the mentors that are in my company or affiliated with my company. That's where they actually start to excel, and where do they go from there? Or they get them, homework, and that's common, very common. I give homework to my clients and students. So ignorance is not bliss, not even close to bliss. It is the root of your suffering, because suffering is lack of knowledge. Even if it's a physical suffering, say it's a disease, how did you acquire and come to that disease, and what treatments and therapies are you in? If you haven't succumbed to the idea that the disease is going to be part of your life, which is also lacking knowledge, have you actually sought out cures or alternative treatments that can reduce your suffering with that particular disease? If that's the case and you have not sought out, then it's your lacking knowledge. It is not anything else. other than your lacking knowledge. So suffering is directly connected to ignorance. The more you know, the less you suffer. As time goes on, you learn how to deal with conditions that are undesirable, which is the idea of suffering, is conditions that are undesirable. So as you move through life, you start recognizing areas that you are unaware of, and the mature person, which is what my predominantly what my systems and my educations are built upon, is maturity. How do you mature in each given circumstance? And a maturity quotient is based off of your ability to function under specific situations. So like intellectual quotients or IQs, or intelligence quotient is actually the term, which is IQ. Mine is MQ, all right? And that is maturity quotient. There's the factor of IQ, yes, but that doesn't really measure your ability to function within given circumstances with your level of maturity. You just may be cognitively capable of dealing with it, but not necessarily emotionally or physically capable of dealing with the problem at hand. So we're expanding beyond just the standards of intelligence quotients. So with that being said, your suffering is directly linked to your lack of knowledge in a particular area. If you wish to get out of what you would call suffering, or what I would reference as being undesirable, it's simple. You start learning what you don't know about a particular thing. That's it. Simplicity at hand. All right. Well, I hope that this very short video has been beneficial for you. I will obviously and happily extend upon this if the request is made or the questions are asked that feel viable to expand on, that I could not necessarily do as easily with just writing back. So if you like what you've heard, as always, please comment, share. Now, you can comment down here, right down below in the comment section. You can also share this by just clicking on the share button. Subscribe, follow me if you like. I will happily do more videos and talk about me with your friends. Obviously, I will be grateful for that. And I will also expand further on what the Human Manual is capable of, as well as the series of Growing Up in the Wilds of Suburbia, if you engage. So with that, thank you very much. I hope that this has been a benefit for you. And thank you. Enjoy your day.